The stage lights dim slowly, wrapping the auditorium in an almost sacred silence. A barefoot boy, no older than 15, steps timidly into the spotlight, clutching a guitar that looks as worn as his spirit. Its wooden body is scratched, strings slightly rusted, but it is clear this guitar has been his companion through countless nights of practice and survival. His clothes hang loosely, patched and stitched with care, but they reveal the struggles of a life shaped by poverty and sacrifice. The audience, used to polished performers and confident smiles, begins to whisper. Some tilt their heads with curiosity, others exchange doubtful looks. Even the judges, seated with practiced composure, glance at each other with expressions caught between skepticism and concern. One raises an eyebrow as if to say, "This might be a waste of time." Another sighs almost inaudibly, preparing to be unimpressed. The cameras zoom in on his trembling hands, the microphone amplifying the sound of his nervous breath. Then a gentle question comes from the panel, "Tell us who you are." The boy swallows hard, his voice fragile but honest. "I'm Miguel. I used to sing for coins on the street so my mom could eat. Today, I just want her to hear me sing somewhere she can be proud." Miguel's voice drifts across the hall like a fragile thread weaving through every heart in the room, but behind each lyric lives a hidden story carved from struggle. The audience sees only a boy with a guitar, but his memories are vivid, and they spill into the melody as if the strings themselves are confessing his past. In dreamlike flashes, the camera reveals scenes of a younger Miguel singing on rain-soaked sidewalks, his thin body shivering under the weight of cold nights. Strangers dropped coins into his battered guitar case, some with pity, others without even looking at him, and though his hands blistered from strumming for hours, he kept playing. Hunger gnawed at him, yet each time he caught his mother's faint smile, his spirit rekindled. She had given everything, skipping meals, working endless shifts, just so he could hold on to a piece of childhood. Her whispered words still echo inside him now, "One day, your voice will be your wings." Those words became his anchor, keeping him steady when despair threatened to drown him. Back on stage, Miguel leans closer to the microphone, singing the haunting refrain, "Such a lovely place," and the hall seems to hold its breath. A judge discreetly wipes a tear, while another grips her pen so tightly it almost breaks. The song has stripped away the polished walls of entertainment and left nothing but raw humanity. His mother presses her hands together, tears streaming down her face, because she knows this is more than a performance. Every lyric is an offering, every chord a silent prayer. Miguel isn't just singing, he is honoring his father's sacrifices, thanking his mother's strength, and proving that even a poor boy's song can reach the deepest chambers of the human heart. The final note hangs in the air, trembling like a fragile bird afraid to land, and for a moment the world forgets how to breathe. The silence that follows is not empty but sacred, as if the very walls of the auditorium are holding their breath with him. Miguel lowers his guitar slowly, his shoulders rising and falling with the weight of both fear and hope. His eyes flicker toward the judges, then toward the vast audience, and in that instant, doubt creeps in. Did I do enough? Did I truly belong here, or was this just another dream too big for a boy like me? His fingers clutch the neck of the guitar tighter, as though letting go might shatter the fragile illusion. The camera cuts to his mother. She is trembling, the scarf in her hands pressed against her heart, her lips moving in a whisper no one can hear. Years of sacrifice have led to this single moment, and her tear carries the memory of every meal she skipped, every dream she put aside so her son could keep singing. The drop falls, glistening, like a jewel earned through pain. Then the silence breaks, not with a slow clap, but with an eruption. The audience rises as one, their applause thundering through the hall, crashing like waves that refuse to retreat. Some cheer his name, others cry openly, unashamed. On the panel, the judges' walls finally crumble. One hides his face in his hands, his shoulders shaking with emotion. Another leans toward the microphone, her voice trembling, "Miguel, you didn't just perform. Tonight, you healed something in all of us." Miguel bows his head, overwhelmed, tears streaking his cheeks. His gaze finds his mother's, and in that silent connection lies everything: suffering, sacrifice, survival, and love, now illuminated by the glow of redemption. As the applause finally softens, a judge leans forward, her voice trembling as though she has carried this question in her chest from the first note. "Miguel, before we vote, we need to know. Where does this kind of truth come from? Who taught you to sing with such pain, with such soul?" The boy freezes. His lips quiver, eyes shining beneath the stage lights. For a moment, he looks down at his calloused hands, hands that once begged for coins but tonight carried the weight of his entire story. Then he whispers into the microphone, "My father, he worked 3 jobs. He came home tired, but every night he sang to me. He said one day I would stand on a stage he could never reach. He died before that dream could come true. Tonight, I sang for him." A hush spreads like wildfire. The audience gasps softly, their earlier applause replaced with something deeper: reverence. His mother clutches the scarf tighter, shaking as the truth lands on every heart present. That scarf, they now realize, belonged to the father whose dream Miguel has just carried into the light. Tears slip silently down her cheeks, her body folding with both grief and pride. One of the toughest judges, known for his sharp tongue, clears his throat, his voice breaking for the first time. "Miguel, your father is here tonight. Not in the chair beside your mother, but in every note you sang. He lives in you." Another judge pushes her chair back, unable to contain the emotion. She rises, placing her hand over her heart. Soon, the other judges follow, and then the entire hall. No deliberation, no hesitation. The panel, the crew, the crowd, every soul stands in honor. It is not applause anymore. It is respect, an ovation for a boy who turned loss into legacy. Backstage, the lights dim softer, the noise of the cheering audience still echoing faintly beyond the curtains. Miguel clutches his battered guitar tightly against his chest, as if afraid the magic of tonight might slip away if he lets go. His small frame trembles, not from fear this time, but from disbelief. He whispers under his breath, "Was this real?" His mother approaches slowly, her eyes swollen with tears yet glowing with pride. In her hands is the scarf, the same one she had held through every hardship, every lonely night. Gently, she places it across his shoulders. Her voice is tender, fragile, yet full of conviction. "Tonight, your father heard you." And he smiled. Miguel can no longer hold back. He collapses into her arms, sobbing into the scarf, his tears soaking the fabric once worn by the man who gave him both life and song. The camera lingers on their embrace, silhouetted against the warm glow of the stage door, a portrait of love, sacrifice, and triumph. Then, unexpectedly, the head judge steps into the hallway. His eyes are red, his voice thick with emotion. "Miguel," he says, "we've arranged something. Tomorrow, your father's name will be placed in our hall of performers. Not because he was famous, but because he raised you." The boy's breath catches. His mother covers her mouth, overwhelmed, her knees nearly giving way. A poor boy's song has not only lifted his family from the shadows but etched his father's name into history. As they walk out into the night, the city lights shimmer like stars scattered across the sky. Miguel looks up, hugging his guitar, whispering, "We did it, Dad." For the first time, he no longer feels like a boy from the streets, but like a son who fulfilled a sacred promise.